南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛。We pay homage to our respected teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. So, tonight is a beautiful iris. This is from Polem's garden. Yeah, we have few different kinds of irises. We have white, yellow. Do we have pink? No, no pink. Red, yeah, red, dark red, and purple, blue, purple. This is pretty, right? Very pretty, yeah. Okay. Anybody has anything to say about this pretty iris flower? It's just pretty, right? White food, yeah, okay. Good morning.
I look at this picture, it's very simple and pure, and the flowers is freely to extend to different directions. So it's charming, but quiet to open. The flower like forgiving, with nothing to say. It's very kindness giving. Like a, yes, is a seed to be a flower. They need the sunshine and the water. So we have this flower. They are nourished for many conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being nourished by a lot of conditions for a long time before it becomes a flower.
Exactly. So when I'm giving a flower to others, to Buddhas, to Sangha, that means to have those conditions.
Good. Thank you. Wonderful. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Nora? Nora, where's, yeah. Yeah.
I would just say that it's very complicated. Like, look at the intricacies of all that yellow and the veining and the white.
And gold? Yeah.
Very intricate.
Yeah. Very complicated. Colors combination, eh? Pink and blue and white, and gold and red and yellow and whatever. Yeah, very complicated, just like life. Okay, Laurie. Thank you, Nora. Laurie.
Thank you, hi, everybody.
Hello.
What I love about irises, especially these purple ones, is from a distance when you see them, it's all you see is the purple, but when you get closer, you see the lovely little intricate yellow patterns hidden underneath.
Yeah.
For the bees, the hummingbirds should be attracted, and I just think it's so clever and so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Irises are very clever. Really?
They are.
They are very clever. Yeah, good. Okay, great. Thank you. Isabella?
Good evening, Sifu and everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. When I first see this picture, I have a question. I'm thinking, for me, I see it as purple, but for some other people may think this is kind of like dark blue or blue. But for colorblind people, maybe they think this is red or green. We don't know.
What do you see?
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
I don't know, from other perspectives, people think, oh, this is pretty. But some people may think, oh, I don't like blue color, this is ugly.
Yeah.
And then also it reminds me of the family, like sibling, like brother, sister, or sister and brother, some kind like that.
Yeah.
We all with the parents' gene, like genetic, we are
Yeah.
all the same, from the
Yeah.
same mom and same father. But we grow up differently, and then we have our own personality.
Yes.
And then we see things differently.
Yeah.
Maybe some are born to be nice, some born to be kind of selfish or easily to get angry.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. And then I would like to echo the classmate saying like it may attract the bee or a butterfly or a hummingbird or the other animals. And
The
it
other birds.
benefits the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. What did you see? What color did you see, Paul?
It's more.
Don't guess.
No, I'm trying to explain the color.
We have a colorblind person on site.
More of a blue than a purple, but there is purple.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's no pink.
No pink.
No.
Okay. You. Of course. I don't think you can see the pink.
But what I do see is the background green
You know that color is green.
is just like all of life shining behind
Okay.
the flower.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because all of that green is life.
Oh, that green what?
Is life.
Oh, all that green is life.
Done.
He said, all that green is life. Well, we have somebody on site who is colorblind. So he said he saw it like a blue, not a purple, right?
Yeah, more blue.
More blue than purple, but he doesn't see the pink. And then he said the background is just like light.
Life.
Life. Yeah. Life. The whole green is like the life for the irises.
Well, it's living. All of
It's
that
living.
green is living. life.
Ah, I see. All that green is the living life behind it. You know, when I look at this iris on this TV, it's as if that it is actually moving. It's very strange with these technology things. The petal seems to be like, moving around and then come back, move around, come back. It probably is my eyes. Something wrong with my head today. Okay, Maria, you're next. Maria.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, I was saying that I found the flower beautiful for her asymmetry.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that is special. That makes the flower special. The asymmetry, also the purple, because we have this purple, this beautiful purple, but there is also red and white, bikini in some part of the flower.
Yes. Yes.
So I find the flower beautiful for that asymmetry, for the very different
Yes.
than also the flowers, and I love all the green behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
The flower, yeah, I love that this is like the most beautiful friend for a flower, that beautiful green behind.
Yeah.
So everything that I see is a beautiful, different flower, sophisticated flower that make it more special.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
That's,
Yes. Thank you.
that's what I see.
Good. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Okay, Mali.
Thank you, Seifu.
Hello.
Hello. So I love the contrast that you have in this picture. It's beautiful. And also the simplicity of the picture. It doesn't have too much of stuff in the background, just one flower there. And so looking at something simple really brings us joy. And then the teachings you have written here matches in my view, matches what the simplicity of offering a flower to the triple gem brings us a lot of inner joy, whereas
Yes.
the flower would give us so much pleasure.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how I was reading it.
Good. Yeah. Great. Thank you. It's a really beautiful picture. Beautiful flower. Thank you. Okay, Catherine. Catherine, from San Francisco, is that right?
Hi. Yeah, good evening, Sifu and everybody. When I look at this picture,
Yeah.
it is simple
Yeah.
compared to all the previous pictures, was so colorful and then complex, everything. And this is just simple by itself, and then it's full of color. This reminds me of what Sifu said last week also, that when she was a child, her family is poor, and then they don't get new clothing. And then what their clothing is just passed by from their elder sibling.
Yeah.
But then Sifu's mom said, as long as your clothes is clean, it doesn't matter if it's full of patches, as long as it's tidy and clean.
Yeah.
So this flower iris just remind me of,
Wow.
what Sifu's mom said, as long as it's simple and clean, it doesn't have to be fancy.
Hey, yeah. Thank you, my dear mom. Yeah, thank you for remembering what my dear mom taught me, Catherine. Yeah, great. Wonderful. Good. Thank you. Wonderful sharing. Anybody else? Versha? Sure. Versha and then Michelle, yes. Hi. Hi.
I was looking very attracted to the yellow and white pattern
Yes.
on the flower, and it made me think of if I was 10 steps away, I would see this iris and I would think, oh, that's a beautiful iris. But it would attract me, and I would come closer and closer, and only then do I get that treasure of that beautiful yellow and white pattern. I find that almost a flower by itself, but I had to get close and see it and appreciate it and see it. I loved it.
Just like the Dhamma, isn't it? Just like the Dhamma. Yeah, you look here, you 10 steps away, yeah, it looks very sweet, it sounds very sweet. You go 5 steps away, hey, it looks different, it tastes different. And 1 step away, wow, you're right into the Dhamma, you say, wow, beautiful, it's beautiful Dhamma. Yeah, great, thank you, good. Thank you, Versha. Michelle?
Good morning, Sifu and everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just want to share my feelings about this photo.
Yes.
This is a beautiful photo with close-up shot. But to me, I see purplish in my book, but now I see it's like blue on the screen.
Yeah, the printing and the real picture looks very different. Yeah.
This flower reminds me of person. My friend Sifu. Like it reminds me Sifu.
Sigong. Okay.
I've never met him in person, but when I see this photo, his image in one of the Buddhist magazine cover has popped up in my mind. He was wearing the purple robe.
Yes.
The color is the same as the flower include the yellow part.
Yes, yes, yes.
To me, this photo is about Qigong has spread the Dhamma in the West. As the flower has covered most of the background, his spirit of teaching is always there. And it has already benefited lots of people. And I feel very touched, grateful, and fortunate.
Wonderful. That was a very good, wonderful. That was a very good sharing. I never saw my Sifu in that flower, and you did see your Sigong in that flower. Wow, it touched me. Yeah, yes, when you talk about that, yes, Sifu has a robe like that, that color. That rope is now over 100 years old, 120 years old, that rope must have been, because it was passed down by Qi He Taihou, gave it to Master Xu Yun, and Master Xu Yun passed the last empress in China before the communist China took over. That was given by the empress to Master Xu Yun. And Master Xu Yun, when he passed the Dhamma lineage to my Sifu, he gave Sifu the purple rope. You may have seen the picture before. You have, right? Yeah. So people, Sifu only wore that purple rope when we get ordained, when we renounce. Yeah. So yeah, great, wonderful. Good to be able to remember your elders, teachers, your grand Sifu, your Si Gong. Yeah, it's nice to be able to remember them all the time. Good, wonderful, great. You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else? I see this green, which I didn't see at that time. Maybe I saw it, otherwise I wouldn't have taken the picture like this. I see this flower being so beautiful. It couldn't be that beautiful without the green as the background. So the backdrop, the green in the back, actually amplifies the vibrant color of this iris. And it's gives it so much more life and so much more substance. It's so solid. Without that green, I don't think it will be so popped up, right? If it is among a lot of grass and irises, and this iris flower wouldn't be so outstanding. Yeah, that's what I saw just now. Yeah, and flower, whether it's a wild one or whether it's the one that we intentionally plant in the garden, always have the way to find ways to reproduce and spread themselves. But they may come back later, and human beings invented all these words to label the flowers. If they come back, they are called perennials. If they don't come back, they are called annuals. So human beings design all these terms to describe whether these flowers are able to return next year or not. We are constantly trapped in these kind of concepts. We're so much being trapped in these kind of concepts, which a lot of times really prohibits us to see the real truth behind a lot of things. I don't know whether you agree, but from looking at this flower, this is the thought that actually popped up in my mind yesterday. I only saw the green being so supporting to the vibrant color of the iris just now. But this idea of us being trapped in those concepts really become obstacles and hindrances to the possibility of us seeing the real truth a lot of times. So one of them is the real truth is life after death, right? Rebirth. And that's why the Buddha's teachings are not as popular as other teachings, as other religion. In the whole world, there's only like about 8% 8% of world's populations are Buddhist. And of course, demographically it's different, right? Like in Burma, in Thailand, it's almost 90% or 98%. In Canada, we have 0.8%. We have 200,000 of so-called Buddhist. And in America, they have about 3 million of Buddhists. So why? Well, firstly is the teachings are not readily available here. Were not readily available, and the second thing is about this lives after death. This concept, this idea, is actually a lot of people. They have doubts about that. They do have doubts about that, and that this is a very big thing for people to grasp on and to be able to accept it, because we've never died, and we never have anybody to come back to us after they died and come back to us and tell us what is death like and what is life after death is like, right? So it's all some we can say concept that whether we accept it or not. Of course, you can talk about rebirth, this moment to moment rebirth, but I'm talking about the rebirth is the life after death is not just momentary rebirth. So for us, that's actually a very precious teaching. For me, I see that it is a very precious teaching because it's so optimistic, right? It's so hopeful that I still have many lives to come. At least one day I can be a Buddha. I can be a Bodhisattva, or even Sotapanna, you know. But it's so hopeful that I still have so many possibilities. But you know, if I don't get anywhere, this life is, oh, poor me, is really very hopeless. That's how I see it, being so hopeful. And that's why, you know, the Buddhist teaching is really not pessimistic. It's really very, very realistic and realistically optimistic, I think. Okay? So anybody wants to share any more about this flower before we actually go on to the passage? Okay, all right, then we go on to the passage. So the passage said, when you offer a flower to the triple gems, that means the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And Sangha means community of practitioners, and mostly in the old days, this word Sangha means communities of monastics. But now, since the Buddhist teachings have traveled west to the west, this Sangha word is very popularly used by by householder. So they call themselves lay Sangha, right? They also call themselves Sangha. So this is if they add a word lay people Sangha in the front, I could accept it. But if they use just the Sangha, I really think it is very inappropriate for householder to use the word Sangha, because with this word Sangha, there is a bigger meaning than just community. Okay, it's a really community of monastics which abide by the many precepts that the Buddha has passed down, with the vow of upkeeping a very high moral life, and vowing their life to practice the Dhamma and vowing their life to actually to serve humanity and not to actually use any householder means to make a living. So there are many more actually meanings behind this word Sangha. So that's why I don't agree with this word being used by lay people. And so then you are planting a good seed for a beautiful future. So this is the passage that goes along with this picture. Go ahead.
Okay. So when I see the passage, I see offering.
Offering.
So offering is Dhamma and generosity that overcomes stinginess.
Yes.
And also, if you like making offering, just like growing fields, and from a Buddhism perspective. So doing good deeds is to grow blessings and wisdom. So when we're doing that, there's free fields like compassion field, making helping the people in need, like poor and ill, and also is gratefully making offer to your parents and teacher, and also respectful is to respectfully make offer to Buddha. Because they are our spiritual teachers and godparents.
Good.
And seeing the flowers is just like, you can tie it back to the law of causality, cause and effect. From a seed to become a beautiful flower, it takes a lot of conditions.
Yes.
It may not turn out a good, beautiful, but it just depends on the karma and the causality. It doesn't matter if it's a flower or animal or ingredients.
Yes. Yes.
How
Yes.
it comes to the world.
Yes. 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 Great. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Arin. Okay, Mali.
I think it's me. Okay. Yes. It's a very uplifting or activity.
Yes.
And whenever we offer flowers to Buddha, we always reflect that these flowers, they don't last too long. They wither away. Similarly, we do, our bodies also wither away.
Yes.
So because of that, we don't have to have any ego. We have to have any attachments to other things, because we know that we are passing away, and so are the other things.
Yes.
So those are the things that when we reflect, when we offer flowers to Buddha at the temple.
Good. Good. Wonderful. Great. Nice. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. Vasha, yes?
I thought the last line was interesting. So it talks about when you offer a flower, and then if you go to the last line, it says you are planting a good seed for a beautiful future. So when I first read it, I thought, I offer a flower, I will get a good future. But if you look at that line, it's no, you're just making a beautiful future. It's like a collective beautiful future. It isn't something you do for yourself. It's something you do more collectively.
Yeah, not necessarily for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, but you'll get it. You'll be in there. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Oh, okay. Titania.
Thank you, Sifu. Before this Dhamma
Buddha teaching, I always thought, offering the flower to Buddha is a good gesture, and it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But actually, after today's teaching, it resonated inside me. It's like the impermanence and the never stagnant nature of human beings and life, and it's part of it. And we treasure this time, and we make the best out of it. And the flower is the best part because we offer the best of us for the Buddha and also for the Dhamma and the Sangha, because we want to contribute our part and our effort, whatever we have. So actually today, it makes me understand a lot more.
Good.
And thank you, Sifu.
Good. Wonderful. Nice. That's the whole purpose of Dhamma sharing, is let us understand more and more. Yeah. So we can actually practice in a more fruitful way, better way. Yeah. Great. Fong King from Hong Kong.
Thank you, Sifu.
Good morning.
I don't know whether I'm egoistic, but certainly I think, well, when I offer a flower to the Buddha, I feel like I'm offering the flower to myself. I mean, I can feel, it makes me feel more of my inner nature or the inner strength of the Buddha nature. I feel it was me this way. It's just like offering a flower to my Buddha nature inside. It will help to enhance my love for the Dhamma, my liking for the Sangha. So I'm benefiting myself first.
That's not bad. No.
I feel like what I can help myself.
Exactly.
This way.
Yeah.
I have the power to benefit others.
Yeah. If you are not, if you are not strong, how can you benefit others, right? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good. Wonderful. Different perspective. No problem. Very good. Anybody else? I love this interactive sessions. Really nice. Yeah. Okay. So we remember last week we talked about Pusen Pusat, the Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Remember that? Last week we talked about the 10 great vows of Pusen Pusat. And the third vow is to make abundant offerings. Okay? So abundant offerings, of course, offerings, there are many kinds of offerings, different kind of offerings. And a flower is an offering, and in the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, there are 10 kinds of offerings, and they signify differently. Okay, they signify different, or they have different definitions, and they signify differently. Okay, so like incense is like you burn incense to offer. You see that the first thing you see going to a monastery is an offering of incense, and then offerings of candles or lights, and then flowers, and then fruits and water. So, for example, incense, I'm just giving you an example. I'm not going to go into details of these 10 offerings, what's the meaning of the offerings of each. It's going to take one lesson to do these 10 offerings. So, for example, just an example, an incense is because when the incense is being burned, then there will be smoke. There will be smoke, right? And this smoke actually is if you are actually burning good incense with good wood, that smoke that comes out is actually very calming and actually very refreshing. And but nowadays it's very difficult to find really good wood to offer. And even those some of the good wood that we think we actually spending a lot of money to buy is really not very good wood. So that but you know, that is what it is, right? Incense, just like everything else, like the fruits that we have nowadays is way different than we used to have when we were little. I remember when we were little, the apples taste much nicer, oranges are much sweeter, and not just sweet, but there is taste of oranges. Now, oranges are just orange, juice and sweetness, that's all. There's no taste of orange. So, you know, sooner or later we forget how oranges should taste because we've never tasted like that. But when we were little, we actually very, very nice oranges taste, I mean. So then the second one is the flower. So flower, we'll talk about flower later on, why flower is such a nice thing, okay? So then flower, and flower is actually means there is this seed of this flower that being planted into the soil, being looked after. There's enough, all these good favorable conditions, and the flower will just bloom. So offering a flower, that means we are actually planting seed, okay? And then light, of course, like the Buddha's teachings are just like light, you know, that shines our path. And water, that means cleanliness, right? So there are 10 of these, all right? And then fruits, and then tea, and then food, and then precious stone like gems, and then sutra, and then ropes and clothes. Ropes or clothes. Ropes, that means, you know, this kind of rope or the religious robe that we wear. So these are called the 10 offerings, 10供養. So a lot of times people think that, well, we offer these 10 offerings. Oh, great! We okay, 10 offerings. I'll pay to offer 10 offerings, and you think you have done a great deal. You haven't done anything. You only have given just the material dana. That's all. Only when you start to understand these 10 offerings much deeper, and then when you offer, you actually reflect upon upon each one of them. For example, if you offer a light, light represents wisdom. When there is wisdom, that means darkness will be removed. When there is light, that means darkness will be removed. When there is wisdom, that means ignorance will be removed. So when you offer a light, you don't just, it really, $30 for a light, I'll offer 10. You think that is wisdom? There's no wisdom in there. But when you offer a light, when you're holding a light, or when you are actually putting the money in or offering or imagining that you're offering, and then from yourself, that light actually spreads from yourself, from this Buddha nature mind inside, out, shining onto yourself and shining onto others. And that is our offering. And why do we need to shine onto others? Because what the Buddha said, we need to choose to walk on the Bodhisattva path, to benefit, not just benefit ourselves, but we need to benefit others. We need to serve others so that others could be out of sufferings. not just myself out of sufferings, but you need to learn, you need to know that, okay, this way I can be out of sufferings. Then when I'm walking on this path, I want others to be out of sufferings. Okay, so that is the 10 offerings. So when we offer a flower, to the Buddha, the flower represents a seed, a cause. Because of this cause, there will be these consequences. Whether we are in a mundane world, whether we are in the supramundane world, this law of causation is always there. Unless one day we become the Buddha, we become a Buddha. We actually eradicated all our afflictions, all our defilements, and there is no cause and effect anymore. That's total nibbana. Okay. So when this flower you're offered, that cause being planted, so that you can be quite sure, not absolutely, but quite sure that there will be a consequence, that the flower will start to sprout and start to bloom. And you plant a rose, you put in a rose seed, or you put in a tulip seed, you will definitely only get tulip. You will not get a rose from a tulip seed. So we have to remember that. If you start to ask for a rose because you have planted a tulip and you started to ask for a rose, you're going to ask for problems. You're going to ask for troubles for yourself. You're going to make life so much difficult for yourself and for others too. So when we actually offer a flower, so we will start to see, I am planting a seed. Then when you actually walk on the road and you see a flower, when you walk along the curb, you see a flower, you are reminded of causes. And then you can constantly reflect upon yourself. Am I planting wholesome causes today, this moment, or last hour, or this morning? So those are all reminders for us to actually constantly keep ourselves in checking on ourselves. So do not think that, okay, when there is a saying is, oh, when you offer a flower, you've offered enough flowers this lifetime, next lifetime you will be very pretty, you will be beautiful, you'll be born beautiful, right? You have heard that, right? There's so many people saying that, I tell you. If that is the way, then you should offer flowers every day. Every moment you bring beautiful flowers to the Buddha, then definitely you will be beautiful, right? Then what happens? What about us? Throwing away all those, oh, we have no flowers because it's all withered and we threw away. So we don't offer flowers, we threw away flowers. So what happens to us? Then we will be born very ugly next lifetime? No that kind of easy way out. No. It's completely wrong concept. So you remember when you plant a flower, that means you are planting seeds. So what kind of word, what kind of actions, what kind of thoughts that we have actually planted those seeds in our future life. Okay? So bear in mind this. Bear in mind the cause and effect of offering of what the offering of flower actually represents. So the origin of flower offering, it really in the sutra it didn't really say that it started from there, but this is how I actually think it started. When one lifetime, when Sakyamuni Buddha wasn't a Buddha yet, Okay, so he actually met the Buddha Tipamkara, this Buddha in Dangfat. Okay, so Sikamuni Buddha in that past lifetimes met Buddha Tipamkara one day because he was going to teach. So the king was so happy that Tipamkara Buddha was coming into his country to teach. He was so happy, and so the king ordered everybody, all the people who grow flowers in the country, said nobody is allowed to sell any lotus flower to anybody. Nobody. Okay? And the flowers are reserved for the king only. So Sikamuni Buddha, at that time, he was already a practitioner, and he heard that Buddha Tipamkara was coming into town to teach, so he wanted to go and buy a lotus flower to offer to Buddha Tipamkara. But because the king has already passed an order down, nobody is allowed to sell any, not even one lotus flower. So he couldn't find it. So he walked and walked and walked, and he saw there was a young girl. She had 7 lotus flowers in her hand. So the Sikamuni Buddha, the past life of Sikamuni Buddha, actually asked the girl, I wanted to buy a lotus flower, and nobody would dare to sell me any. How come you have 7? And the girl said that, well, because I know that floral lady, the one who sell flowers there, I had special relationships with her, so I got some flowers. And you know how much I pay? I paid 7 taels of gold to get 7 lotus flower. That's a lot of money. So that's why nobody can buy it except me. I'm so rich I can buy. Then this girl took the flowers to go and offer to Buddha Tipamkara. And the Sikamuni Buddha, the past life of Sikamuni Buddha, said, okay, what about if I give you 7 taels of gold? Would you sell me those 7 lotus flowers? She said, no. So Sikamuni Buddha backed and backed and backed. And then the last thing, the young girl said, okay, I can sell you the flowers, but based on one condition. If you agree, I will sell. If you don't, I won't sell. You know what's the condition? Anybody guess the condition? Huh? Marry him? Yep. He said, from now on, all the lives to come, we have to become wives and husband. Then I will sell you the flower. And Sikamuni Buddha thought, well, I need to offer. And he said, okay, you have conditions, I have conditions too. I don't mind. I'll be your husband for many lives to come. But when I tell you that I'm going to leave the family to be a monk, you cannot say no. You have to say yes. And you know what? My son is going to be a monk also. And you have to let him go too. And the young girl thought, oh, well, of course I would. I would. You're going to be my husband. Never mind. Anything, I would just say yes. So she said yes. So she gave the flowers. So both of them actually have flowers on their hand. And then so they went and offered the flowers to the Buddha Dhammakara. Dhammakara was waiting, and they were waiting for Dhammakara to come, and so they offer the flowers and they pay respect. And when they actually offer the flowers, everybody was just so, those people who have flowers, they throw flowers into the air, and everybody, and including this young girl and the Sikamuni Buddha, they threw flowers, and these two people, when they threw the flowers to the air, they form an umbrella of flowers, an umbrella on top of the Buddha Dhammakara. And then that umbrella of flowers actually followed the Buddha Dhammakara wherever he went. And Sikamuni Buddha and this young girl actually followed him. And then after that, Buddha Dhammakara taught. He taught to everybody, and everybody thought, well. Then the Buddha said, do not underestimate this person. He was pointing to Sikamuni Buddha. For in the future, after a long, long time, maybe a few kalpas, he will be a Buddha in the human world. So he was endorsed by Buddha Dhammakara in that situation, that he was going to be a Buddha. So you can see the Buddha actually, he planted such a wholesome cause to offer a flower to the past Buddha Dhammakara. That wholesome cause, of course, he has a lot of merits. Otherwise, the Buddha Dhammakara would not endorse the Buddha Sikamuni Buddha, that he will become a Buddha in the human world. So you can see when he offered this flower, that was the cause. That was the cause of him to become the Buddha in the human world. And then the consequence of offering that flower was he really became the Buddha in the human world. So you can see from this story, offering of flower, there is a bigger meaning behind that, a real bigger meaning behind that. It's not just wanting to become beautiful in many lifetimes to come. No, okay? So, and we all know that the sixth paramita, or the six perfections, is one of the perfections. One of the perfections is generosity, right? Dana. The first one is offering, dana, generosity. And of course, the other ones is discipline, patience, diligence, meditative concentration, we call samadhi, and then wisdom. So we can see this is in the Mahayana tradition, okay? So in the Theravadan tradition, they have 10 paramis. The last 4 are the aspects of the wisdom paramita, which includes skillful means, strength, aspiration, and also wisdom. So we can see flowers in the Mahayana tradition. Actually, flowers also represents a parami. It actually representations of parami. So when you offer flowers, or when you actually practice the 6 parami, and when it is completed, then you reach perfections. And so that is also planting good seeds and reaping consequences. So when you plant seed of generosity, you reap consequences of generosity. You plant seed of discipline, you reap consequences of discipline. So you can see that in the Mahayana tradition, that flowers actually represents the 6 paramitas also. Because there is a cause, there's a consequence. The planting of generosity seeds, you reaping the consequences of generosity seeds. So we have to constantly remind ourselves to actually, not because of we wanted the consequences. That's why we behave like this. We do like this. No. We should think about the causes. All right? Yes, wholesome consequences are nice, but where do we get wholesome consequences? If we always wonder, this would be nice if I have these wholesome consequences, then I will plant these causes. No, don't think like that. You have to think the other way is, I plant wholesome causes. I don't care about the consequences. I will do wholesome causes. I will plant wholesome causes. And those wholesome consequences will naturally come. But you think that, I want wholesome consequences. What should I do? Then you are doing reverse, aren't you? So your intention is different. You see it? You see that? Do you see that? You all see that. You understand what I meant, right? Good. So that's why it's actually very, very important to actually plant wholesome causes, good causes, healthy causes. Never mind about the consequences. The consequences may come this life, may come next life, doesn't matter. It will come eventually. You don't have to worry, okay? You know that's for sure. But you need to plant causes. When we understand that, then we will be very careful in our verbal, mental, and physical behavior. We won't plant those unwholesome seeds in those behaviors. Okay? So, and what are the merits of flower offering, the consequences of flower offering? That is another, I'm sharing with you is actually really wonderful story, another wonderful story. In the Apadana, the metaphors spoken by the Buddha, there was this story. One day, Sakyamuni Buddha bring all the students to come to offer, and then all the students to come and and Sakyamuni Buddha received all the offering, and then after they ate, and then they were waiting for the Buddha to give a discourse to teach. And all of a sudden, there was this turmoil in the crowd, and somebody was saying, "Hey! All of you, look at that monk. That monk has a big flower on his ear, like an earring, like a big flower. It's like this beautiful flower that I put up, a 昙花." Oh, so he's wearing such a beautiful flower on his ears. It's really not proper. A monk wearing a flower on his ears. And the flower is called Shumana flower, Shumana flower, big flower. And these people said, how can a monk wear a flower while the Buddha was teaching, right? And how dare him, right in front of the Buddha, wearing a flower on his ear, So everybody was commenting, everybody was pointing a finger and saying that he's not right, and blah, 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 blah. So everybody was discussing and commenting. So the Sangha king also was there listening to the Buddha, offering Buddha, and after that he stayed behind to listen to the Buddha's discourse. And so the Sangha king was there. And so he wanted to actually clarify this thing. So he asked the Buddha, so respectful Buddha, why was this monk wear a flower on his ear? And the Buddha said, okay. So the Buddha talked to the monk. The monk has a name. It's called decor by flower. Decor flower or decor by flower. That means decoration of flowers or decoration by flowers. So he said, monk decor, flower decor, take down your flower. Take off your flower. So the monk said, oh, teacher, yes. So he took the flower off. He took the Sumana flower off from his ear. And then everybody was watching him, took the flower off the ear. And then after he took that off, another big flower came out, even bigger and more beautiful. And then he took it up again. And the Buddha said, take it down, decor flower, monk. And so he took it down. Another flower came out. And then eventually the Buddha said, use your supernatural power to take that flower down. Take that flower off your ear. And the monk said, yes, Buddha. Yes, my respected teacher. So he actually used his supernatural power to make many hands, thousands, 10,000s of hands, and picking the flowers off his ears. And so you can and the whole crowd was seeing, wow, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s of flowers, 100,000s of hands, like making such a complicated, beautiful picture in the sky and everywhere. Flowers and hands. But yet, this monk still wear a flower in his ear. And somebody eventually understood, oh, he did not do that intentionally. He did not wear a flower to decorate himself intentionally. Otherwise, no matter how much he tried, there was still a flower in his ear. So this is a consequence of something that he has done in the past. So he must have done something very big in the past to have this kind of merits. So the Sangha king asked the Buddha again, so respected Buddha, what did he do to deserve such a consequence, beautiful consequence, such a big meritorious consequence? And so the Sangha king asked the Buddha, please explain to us. So the Buddha said, okay, you listen. So 91 kalpas before, 91 kalpas, okay, before, at the time of the Vipassana Buddha, 毗婆尸佛啊，嗬，或者慧慧佛哦。So before, at that time, there was this drunken man. he was a merchant, and he was drunk one night. And then he was so drunk, but he heard that there was this teacher giving teachings. So he heard it, and he was so happy. So he was wearing a sumana flower on his ears at that time. So he took the flower down, and then he offered to the Buddha Vipassana at that time, 91 kalpas before. And because of that, when he died, after he died, and in the next 91, in the lives which span a lot, over 91 kalpas, he continuously either were born as a human being or were born in the heavenly world. Great merits, being very rich. And this lifetime, he had the good fortune, the wonderful merits to be ordained as a monk and took me as his teacher. And he already actually attained enlightenment. And because of that offering of flower, 91 kalpas before, that merits actually carry all the way up till now, and even has not ended. And the Sangha king was so amazed, and he complimented this monk. He said, "Oh, even a drunken person, when he was so drunk, but yet when he heard the teachings and felt so happy and then offered this flower, at that time he did not abide by any precepts and not practice any of these paramis, but he still get this. He still get this, all these merits. And because of these merits, just one offering of one sumana flower and this immense and infinite merits up until now, wow, this is unbelievable." And the Sangha king said, that merits by offering a flower is so unbelievable. And think about a person who practices sila, samadhi, and cultivate wisdom. Imagine those consequences as even unimaginable. So you will be all okay. Right? It seems to be like a story. It seems to be like it's out of this world story, but it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor that the Buddha actually told us, causes and consequences are actually very, very deeply connected, and it's very, very, very important to bear in mind. So you remember when we studied the book in the Buddha's word, in the Anguttara Nikaya, it says, by giving, 3 ways to a fortunate rebirth. By giving, the first way is by giving, the second is by moral discipline, and then the third is by the development in meditation. And these are the wonderful ways to a fortunate rebirth. Giving, moral discipline, development of meditation. You can go back to read the book in the Buddha's word. It's in the chapter of ways to a fortunate rebirth. And so when one gives, remember he gives because out of faith. He gives a gift respectfully, not so, "Oh, this is for you, you take it." No, not like that. He gives respectfully, And he gives a gift at the right time, and he gives a gift with a generous heart. He gives a gift without denigration. So that is the 5 gifts of a superior person. When you give a gift, can you give with these five hearts, these five elements, or any of these 5 elements? Okay, so revise, go back and study that in the Buddha's words, that chapter. So the in the Mahayana teachings, anything that when you talk about the 10 offerings, any offerings, you get the 10 merits of, you get 10 merits. And so offering a flower, you get 10 merits too. I'm not going to go into detail, but some of the merits is one becomes like a flower in the world, beautiful, and you will be very beautiful, and everyone will be attracted to you like bees attracted to the honey, and people will be amazed to look at you and will remember seeing you. That is like one of the merits, and the other merits is one will never have bad bodily odor. And then the smell of morality and virtues of that person will spread in all directions. And then, and the sense of smell will never degenerate. And some people are born without sense of smell. I have a couple of friends who cannot smell at all. They don't have a sense of smell. Have you had anybody? Have you had, no? Oh, I have a couple of friends. So, don't take for granted that you can smell. All right. And then also is one of the merits is one will be a leader of the world, a leader of people of the world, of holy beings, etc. And there are actually 10 merits of offering a flower. I will actually write out for all of you. I'll give the details to Eva when she edits, and you can actually put it in. All right. So remember, offering a flower is just like planting a seed for the future. Therefore, start to plant a seed right now for the future. Plant a good seed, plant a wholesome seed. You don't need to care about the causes, the consequences. It will naturally come. Once you think, once a good thought arises in your mind, you're already starting to plant a seed. Not when you are physically planting. Okay, of course, there's another seed already. But when your mind has this wholesome seed arise, then that is already starting to plant a seed. And when we have more and more of those seeds, we'll be able to actually put out more and more of those fires of ignorance, of stinginess. Okay, so remember all the time to actually allow the good seeds to get strengthened. Strengthen your good seeds. And if you don't have those good seeds yet, plant them. Plant them. All right, then, we dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we, with all the other living beings, together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and help themselves and help others to liberate from all the sufferings, unhappiness, dissatisfactions, and ultimately be free, happy, and peaceful. May you all have a good week, and I hope you have enjoyed the Dhamma sharing tonight.